Hi guys, I'm Dr. J.L. Johnson, and today we're going to be talking about emotions. And we're going to clearly hit on today depression as one of those emotions, or they may call it a disease, but depression is one of those things that you can look at many different ways. There's many different definitions of depression, and we're going to take a look at that. But first, we're going to look at emotions itself. And I'm going to be teaching from my book called Common Sense Health. Common Sense Health. So get on the computer, hit up your friends, and let them know that the doctor is on the air. And we're going to be talking about today something that a lot of people out there suffer with, depression. And years and years and years, many years ago, I had a bout with depression myself. So I know what it's like. I'm not just talking about something I don't know about. I know what it's like, and I went through it, and I know how I got rid of it. So we're going to be talking about that today. But first, as we said, we're going to get started with emotions. Now, what are emotions? I wrote in my book here how emotions can affect you. But before we do that, I want to make a I want to make something clear here that should be in your mind. In Chinese medicine, and for those of you out there who don't know me, I'm Dr. J.L. Johnson. I'm a licensed nutritional herbal doctor, licensed by the Board of Medicine. Also, I'm a master herbalist, trained in most of the herbologies in Chinese, Japanese, American, and also with the PhD and 40 years experience. That's 4 decades of teaching people all across the USA and around the world on natural health out there. So I'm one of the few herbal nutritional doctors out there with the PhD, and with the kind of credentials that I have, I don't know of anyone else that have those kinds of credentials. So I think I'm the only one with the kind of credentials that I have, and the kind of background and the kind of experience that I have. I don't know of anyone else in the country that have those kinds of experience. So we're going to be talking today. So if you don't know me or haven't heard about me, I want you to get to know me. Watch Facebook. Go to our website at aloeman.com. That's ALOEMAN.com. You can go there, and you can get more information. I put a section on my website called Health Concerns. And you can go there and choose your own herbal formula. I'm an herbal formulator and a master herbalist. So we formulate. We have over 1,000 herbal formulations available to help people with just about any kind of problem that they might have. It doesn't matter what it is, whether or not they call it AIDS or cancer, MS, epilepsy, leukemia, Parkinson's disease, or lupus, or sarcoidosis, or whether or not they call it high blood, high sugar, high cholesterol, poor circulation, or even if your feet hurt, you can use God's herbs in order to help your bodies to heal itself. In fact, it's biblical. For many of you out there who are Christian like I am, you know it's biblical. The good Lord in the Bible, God talks in Genesis and other places, but in Genesis 1:29 and 30, God said, I've given you every green herb for the healing of the nation, and to you it shall be meat. So isn't it time, the sustenance for your body? So isn't it time, or could it be that you're not getting well because you're not obeying God and you're not using the herbs in order to help your body to heal itself? Could that be the reason? Could that be why you're a professional sick person? And there are many people out there who are professional sick people. Believe it or not, they're either on their way to an appointment, they have 2 or 3 appointments already set up, they are having this test or that test. They're always doing something for their body and not taking care of their health. They have taken their health and put it in the hands of someone else. And that is not what you want to do. You are responsible for your own health. No question about it. You are. And when you take control of your health, then you can be healthy. There's no question about it. But there was something in Chinese medicine, there's a saying. They're saying that there is no mental problem without there being a physical problem first. Did you know that? Did you understand what I'm saying? So most of the time there is a physical problem that produces the mental problems that people have. So we're going to talk about a few of these emotions today. Now, according to the Chinese, emotions are strongly linked to seven things. Number one, too much pleasure. That can calm the energy in the body. Or anger, which stimulates the energy in the body. And anxiety obstructs the energy in the body. So those people who have anxiety, you're obstructing the energy in your body. And those people who are brooding or those kind of people, they coagulate the energy in their body. And you know, of course, energy must move like everything in the body. God is a moving God. Everything moves. Everything in your body, the sputum moves, water moves, blood moves, gas moves. You don't believe that? Well, you ever had a gas pocket? You know how painful that can be? It must keep moving all the time. So everything moves in your body. In fact, in your body, there's something called meridians, which are super highways in which everything moves throughout your body. So you must be aware of this, and you must keep these things moving all the time. That's why poor circulation, obstruction, and accumulation are three of the major things that make you and keep you sick. So you've got to be aware of that all the time. Some people they have no clue as to what is going on. You must keep things moving all the time. Now, those people that suffer with sorrow and grief, they reduce the energy in their body. And then there's those people with fear that live in fear all the time. And fear can be one of the major underlying factors of those people that suffer with mental problems. So fear suppresses the energy. Then terror and shock disturbs the energy. Now, each one of these are connected to an organ in your body. And you can now begin to see why the Chinese would think that there is no mental problem without there being a physical problem first, because the physical problem does exist. So here's the thing. Let's take a look at pleasure. I'm not going to go through all of these because that can stretch the whole show out. But I want you to take a look at pleasure. Now, many of us believe that if we had continuous pleasure all the time, we would be the happiest person alive. Well, how wrong you would be, because continuous pleasure calms the energy. And that process can injure the heart. Did you hear what I said? It's all connected. That can injure the heart. Injury to the heart can lead to manic depression and other mental illnesses. And to help this person's body to heal itself, we must help strengthen and tone the heart. So you see, there's a lot more to this than what you might think. But I want to cover one more. I want to cover the one here about two. I want to cover just two more. Did you know that constant fear can damage your kidneys? Yes, it can. But I want to talk. I want to mention here about one that I want to cover here. Anxiety, for instance. Anxiety obstructs the energy, which injures the lungs and the spleen. Most people don't know that they have a spleen, or that why the spleen exists in their body, but it is. This is when symptoms such as loss of appetite, depression will set in. So we have to put the body back into a state where it is healthy, so that you can get rid of these particular ones. Now, anger, we talked about this. Since anger stimulates the energy, anger will give you that rush, that call to action. Sometimes anger, since it stimulates the energy, it will injure the liver. Yes, injure the liver. If the anger is extreme, it can cause blood congestion in the chest or anywhere in the upper body. This is manifested in red eyes. A person who has flaming red eyes all the time. most likely that person is an angry person or of some of that sort. This condition can lead to coma. Yeah, you can. We know that the liver controls the mood, and since it does, we must make sure that we detox and nourish the liver to help a person to get well. Now, we covered most of those things there that you need to know about. And these are some things that people never talk about. All they talk about is, well, if you have it, take this drug. No, there's a lot of other things that you need to do. Not just take the drug, because the drug is not going to be the answer in the majority of the cases. You've got to do something more than that. So we're going to talk a little bit, as I said, we're going to talk about depression. Now, I remember, and I'm going to talk about myself as I went through this stage of depression one time in my life. I went through this stage when I was very successful. I had started my own insurance agency back in those. That's over 40 years ago. I had started my own insurance agency. I was very successful in my insurance agency. In fact, I had the largest African American on health product agency there in Miami, Florida, at the time, and I was very successful, but I was not happy at doing what I was doing. I felt like something was missing from my life. Even though I was successful, I had money, I still didn't feel that I was doing what I should be doing, or I was always stressed by doing it. And of course, the insurance business is a stressful business as a result of it. And stress can be one of those major contributing factors to leading to depression. So as it went along, I began to get more and more. First, fear sets in. I began to have these little fears about all kinds of things that was coming. I would worry some things about the business, or I would worry about the regulations. I would worry all about these kinds of things. And then as I went on, I began to get these feelings in my chest, and then the anxiety set in, and then the depression began to set in, and I began to get in the mood of being depressed. Now, yes, you get in a mood to be depressed. Most people out there are not aware of it. Have you ever known a depressed person? They have a certain kind of personality, a certain way that they talk. They talk slow. In fact, most people who are depressed do everything slow. Did you know that? Yeah, they do just about everything slow. They talk slow. They put their head to the side, and they talk like this. When they move slow. They put themselves in a mood or in a state, if you will, to be depressed. That's what it's all about. But then the fear sets in too, along with the fear, and in order to get rid of depression or sometimes mental problems, you've got to find the underlying cause of that, not just take a drug. You've got to find the underlying cause. And most of the time, the underlying cause is fear of something. What was it? What was I fearing? I was fearing whatever I was fearing there. I won't go into that, but whatever I was fearing began to manifest itself into this depression. Now, and I went on with that for a while, even to the point where I just didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to be at the office. I just wanted to do nothing. And that's normally what most people who are depressed do. Are you one of those people out there that I'm talking to right now? Are you depressed? Well, how did I get out of this? Well, I began to do some study on and find out what can I do. But let me just say this. My depression or my fear had manifested itself in believing that I was going to have a heart attack. And I actually felt that I was going to have a heart attack. My heart would race. My pulse would race. Fear would set in. I even ended up in the emergency room a few times because of this fear, thinking that I was going to have a heart attack or was having a heart attack at that time. Now, so how did I get out of this? I mean, it really got bad. It got to the point where where it kept coming and coming. Well, one thing is, and I'll say this, maybe many people out there who may not be Christians may not go along with it, but here's the thing. When you're depressed, if you're having depression, listen, one of the best things in the world is that if you're a Christian, because you have to give this thing up to someone. You have to give it up. And I don't want to get into that, but you have to be able to take it and lay it on someone else. And one of the best persons in the world to lay it on God Almighty Himself, to lay it on them. And you can do it. Of course, you can. We as Christians know that we can do that. So that was one of the things that I used. But the other thing is, I began to recognize these symptoms that I'm now talking about. I began to talk slower. I began to have my head over to the side. I began to move slower. I began to lose that energy that I had. And that's what most people out there who are depressed do. They lose their energy. They don't have the energy to do the things that they want to do. And then I asked myself, well, what was I doing? Where was my energy going? Then I took a look at my health. And then I realized that was before I got into the health business, that I was doing everything. I was eating bad foods. I was drinking a lot of alcohol. I was smoking cigars. So I was doing all of those things in my body and not eating properly. So I began to change my health, begin to exercise, begin to cut away the alcohol and those kind of things. I began to do that and began to start getting healthier. And then as a result of that, I faced the fear that I had. I wrote it down and I began to face that fear. That's what many of you out there must do right now. You've got to write it down. Ask yourself, what am I fearing? Is it because of now in the future, now right here in the present, or is it something that I'm fearing that happened 10 years ago? Could it be that you were in an abusive relationship? Could it be that you were attacked, or could it be any kind of thing that you may be fearing that you may not have dealt with? You may need to deal with that right now. So you may need to deal with that and actually come face to face with that fear, as I did. And then I realized that none of it was real. Depression is not real. It is absolutely not real. It is something that we create in most cases ourselves. We create it. Now, some people will say, "Oh, it's a disease." Well, it's a disease that's created by the person who has it in the majority of the cases. I remember hearing one of the major speakers said once that when he was teaching on depression, where the person was depressed, well, he said, well, if you're depressed right now, if someone could just take a 45, put it to your head and said, stop being depressed, that person would set up and yes, I'm no longer depressed, right? And the depression would go away like that. Well, is that possible? Don't know. But I believe that you can change your state. You can set up, you can talk, you can have energy bouncing around, you can do the thing, you can go out and find things to do. You can interact with people, and then you can take care of your health. That's the most important thing that you can do. Now, as a result of that, as one of the best supports for those people out there that may have depression is a formula, a special tea that I developed that help you to help you to work with these organs of the body, these feelings that it supports the body in supporting the organs. And it's called formula number 418, and it's available, right? You can go to our website and look at formula number 418. So if you're one of those people out there that's depressed, and you have to want to stop being depressed, I need to say that, because many people don't want to stop being depressed. They want to stay in that state. Yes, if you're listening to me right now and you're depressed, then you need to know that you are putting yourself in that mood. When you get up every day, you start with the talking slow, the moving slow, the head twisted to the side, and like little pity me kind of thing. And that's what you go through every day. But if you can perk up your energy, get that energy going back again, speak faster, walk faster, straighten that head up and that position of your body and move faster around. your whole state would change in most of the cases. Now, I know this is a little long show, and your people are watching there, but I wanted to just go through that because, and I hope that I'm helping some people out there because I got through it. And let me just say one other thing. Sometimes you are depressed because of other people. Yes, you are other people. Sometimes you allow other people to make you depressed. And one of the things I found out about myself during that time of depression was that I was always a yes person. You know, I was one of those people that's a yes person. Everybody, I was a problem solver, and everybody's problem would come to me, and I would try to solve those problems. And I'm on the phone with one person, another person is coming through the door. I've got 5 things on my desk to take care of, my family problems over here. All of those things begin to come. That itself can make you depressed in some ways. So I learned one thing, and that is to say no. You've got to learn to say no. You know, when you're handling one problem here, then someone is coming through the door. You've got to put up the hand. Put up the hand. No, wait. When I finish this problem, then I'll come to that problem. And then you've got to take care of yourself. And I want to, vitamin C and B complex is a must for someone. But make sure you get the real one. Go to our website and get Mega C and B complex. Dr. Johnson's B complex 100. You got to have those two. There are a stress tab when you take them together, and they should be there. But learn to say no. Learn to do it on your terms and your time, and stop allowing everyone to overwhelm you, which can cause that deep depression that some of you may be in. Well, we're coming to a close of Health Talk again today, but I'm Dr. G.L. Johnson, and we want to say God bless you all.